Hello, and welcome back to Twisted Tales. Today's story takes us all the way back to the time of magic and witches, princes and princesses. So get comfy as we present to you this original, Sleeping Ugly.
Once upon a time, a very long time ago, when there was still magic roaming the earth, there lived a very ugly 11-year-old girl who had dreamed her entire life of marrying a prince, but she knew that this wasn't meant to be. Knowing this, she tried everything in her power to make herself beautiful, all the way from using spray-on tans to cover her ghostly pale skin to pounds of makeup, which unfortunately made her look like plastic. To her dismay, it never worked. This made her go crazy. By the time she hit 17 years old and was finished school, she was a wreck and had gone completely psycho. She had never been on a date, and everyone made fun of her because she looked so horrendous, which only added to the depression that now consumed her. Later on, she soon found that she wasn't wanted anywhere, not even with her own parents. So she ran. She ran far away where no one would ever find her. This is the tragic story of Aurora.
Miss Aurora, would you prefer roses or daisies planted in the front yard?
Well, what do you think would look better?
In my opinion, both would look divine.
Elsie, honey, I don't bite. You don't have to be afraid to give your opinion.
Well, then I'd say the roses would look better with the rest of the garden.
Agreed. Roses it is.
Aurora now lived deep in the woods in an old yet cozy cottage away from any civilization at all, alone with the only person in the world who gave a care about her, her maid Elsie. After being plagued by all her childhood memories, Aurora banned all mirrors from her house. It had been 9 years since she had seen her own reflection, but today was the day that would change.
Good morning, ladies. Pardon my intrusion. My name is Sir Jeffrey Reynolds.
Good morning, Mr. Reynolds. I'm Aurora, and this is my maid Elsie. How may we help you?
Aurora, is it? For the past couple months, I've been traveling around the kingdom in search of a new owner for my family's heirloom business. My family and I are taking our leave from this kingdom for personal reasons, but would like our business to be secure and in good hands.
Oh, I see.
Could I steal no longer than 10 minutes of your time?
Well, I don't see why not. 10 minutes won't do any harm. Elsie, would you mind putting on a pot of tea and bringing us some of those nice biscuits?
Of course. The tea table on the back patio has just been cleaned. Shall I serve you there?
That would be lovely. Follow me, please, Mr. Reynolds. So tell me, why is it that you're fine with giving this business to anyone who is willing to take it on?
Well, you see, Aurora, I won't give it away to simply anyone. The business that I am in requires one with a special eye for detail. Small detail, someone who is precise with steady hands and has a creative mind. I'm searching for just the right person.
Here you are, your tea and biscuits, Miss Aurora. Do you need anything else?
No, thank you, Elsie. That is all. So, Mr. Reynolds, are you planning on telling me anytime soon what exactly this business is? Such a business that requires someone with such specific criteria?
Of course. However, instead of telling you, allow me to show you.
At that moment, Sir Jeffrey Reynolds leaned down to open his bag that was resting on the side of the table. Aurora, who had allowed herself to wander in her thoughts, was staring up at one of the many singing birds above them, not paying attention to the actions of Mr. Reynolds. The early day was beautiful, but it was about to come to a shocking end. Mr. Reynolds lifted something out of his bag, large, shiny, with exquisite design, instantly catching Aurora's attention. It was a mirror, a gorgeously handcrafted mirror.
My goodness, it's beautiful.
You think so? My family has been making mirrors for centuries. We all have a knack for it, a passion for it. Now I need to find someone who will carry on this passion.
May I see it?
The mirror? Of course.
She took it from his hands, knowing all too well, however, the evil it possessed, if it were to show her own reflection. She pondered it in her hands for a few seconds, slowly admiring its beauty, carefully keeping the glass opposite of her face. And then the unimaginable happened. Mr. Reynolds leaned down again and reached into his bag.
Well, don't be shy. Take a look at your reflection here and take a look at one of the other mirrors I have as well.
And right at that moment, with the other mirror that had just been pulled from the bag, Aurora caught a glimpse of her own reflection floating in the glass raised in Mr. Reynolds' hand. It took her a second to realize what she was looking at, then it clicked, and in about 2 seconds she went from Little Miss Sweet to completely ape. Mr. Reynolds, not wanting to take any chances, ran inside to fetch Elsie.
Miss Aurora, calm down, my lady. There's nothing to be afraid of. The mirrors are gone. You're safe.
Elsie, grab my bag.
And indeed, Elsie had spoken too soon. Sir Geoffrey Reynolds' bag was sitting not 3 feet from where Aurora lay, the 2 mirrors leaning against it in perfect view.
Mr. Reynolds, slowly walk around. Do not make it obvious, and gather your things. You need to leave.
But discretion wasn't an option. Mr. Reynolds caught Aurora's eye the second he moved a muscle, and her outburst repeated itself. She crawled over to the mirrors, smashing their elegance against the stone patio. She then stood up, and without a second of hesitation ran over to the horse Sir Geoffrey Reynolds rode in on, straddled it, and she rode off into the forest surrounding her home.
Are you feeling down? Had a bad day? In need of something to cheer you up? Well, you're in luck. Have a Smickey's. It's filled with caramel, peanuts, and Smarties. Amazing, right? I bet you're already starting to feel better.
Aurora had ridden through the forest for what seemed like days, and finally she stumbled across an old house draped in vines and moss, as though it was part of a tree. Being too thirsty, hungry, and tired, she deserted the horse right in front of the house's entrance, and barged right in.
Hello? Hello?
Who are you? What do you want?
Please, whoever you are, my name's Aurora. I've been wandering around the woods for days now with no food or water. I'm in need of help.
Well, sweetie, why don't you just knock on the door and say so? Come on in.
Ugh, thank you. Thank you so much.
So, tell me, Aurora, how did you end up lost in the woods all alone for days? Oh, but first, silly me. My name is Maleficent. Mal, if you will.
Maleficent, huh? That's a very unique name. I had a little bit of a personal crisis back home. Nothing major, I swear, but I did feel the need to leave. But then I got lost out in the woods and, well, now I'm here.
Honey, I completely understand. I had a few of those myself back when I was little. You'll get through it. You can stay here for a while if you'd like, just until you feel like it's time to go back home.
And so began the unusual friendship of Aurora and Maleficent. Maleficent was an odd old lady, dating her old raggedy clothes, and as Aurora soon found out, not a while after her arrival, Maleficent dabbed in a little bit of magic. Aurora wasn't free of suspicion, though, and Maleficent soon caught on to her avoidance of the mirrors, the same antisocial behavior that often made itself present. Aurora could feel the judgment and knew she was catching on. She knew if she was going to ask Maleficent the question that had been on her mind since she found out magic was in the house, she would have to pluck up the courage fast.
Mal, we need to talk for a second.
Alright, what's on your mind?
Look, I ran away from my home for reasons related to my mirror situation. I know that you know what that is. I'm not stupid. I know you've caught on and noticed. I don't want to get into it too much, but I was wondering, since you practice in magic, is it possible for you to make me pretty? Not just pretty, actually, more like stunningly gorgeous.
Aurora, sweetie, if that's what you wish for, then I suppose I can. After all, I did tell you I'd help you in any way possible.
Wait, actually? Seriously? Oh my god.
Aurora, calm down. I will do this for you. However, there is a catch.
What?
Whenever you use magic, there is always a catch. The catch changes every time, depending on what the magic is used for. I can't tell you what it is because I do not know. But I can tell you from experience, you have to be willing to pay anything that may be asked.
Well, that seems a little far-fetched, but I'll pay whatever you want. Anything will be worth becoming beautiful.
Okay, well, if you agree to that then, tomorrow morning, shall we do it?
As soon as possible.
Are you in need of a getaway? Come visit Cuba. Put your toes in the sand, soak up the sun, and go diving with the many creatures that live deep down in our ocean. Stay in a 5-star resort and try amazing new food. Learn about the Cuban culture. You'll never want to leave. It's Cuba.
Follow me please, Aurora, and when we get into the room, do not touch or do anything. Wait for my commands.
Sounds good.
I'm going to go over to the spinning wheel and start to spin it, okay? Do not follow me. When I tell you to walk, then you may follow me. All right, Aurora, come here.
And with the end of that final sentence, Maleficent rose from her seat when Aurora was near. She roughly grabbed for her hand, and taking her index finger, lightly pricked it upon the needle perched on the spinning wheel. Aurora instantly fell to the floor unconscious. Maleficent dragged Aurora's body over to the bed stationed at the back of the room. She laid her down comfortably, then proceeded to whisper a long, complicated spell into her ear. And then Aurora lay, for 100 years. Year by year, something about her changed, all the way from an olive tan to the perfect waistline. You name it, she had it. And on that 100th year, when the transformation was complete, something happened.
Whoa there, boy, whoa, slow down. I want to go check that out.
A prince was riding through the woods with his horse, and he stumbled across an old house Aurora lay in, still covered in vines and moss.
What do you suppose lives in here? What kind of strange creature lurks? Surely not a human. Hello? Anybody home?
Hello?
Who's there?
Oh no, don't be frightened, young man. Are you a prince?
Yes?
Perfect. Follow me. Follow my voice.
Excuse me?
Shush, don't ask questions, just follow.
And so the prince followed Maleficent, wary of what he was doing, but didn't want to upset this creature. Maleficent preserved her life for the 100 years using a bit of her own magic, but the aging process was not slowed. She was a wrinkled prune of a human, her eyes covered in sagging skin. The prince followed her all the way to the chamber where Aurora lay, still asleep. And just before the entrance is where Maleficent left him.
Go, she waits for you.
Goodness. I've never seen anyone so beautiful, so fair and precious. Why won't she wake, though?
My prince, do you remember ever being told a story of a young princess who was put under an eternal sleeping curse, but saved by a kiss of her one true love?
Sleeping Beauty?
Sleeping Beauty indeed. That situation implies here, I would assume, would you not?
Would you mind turning your back to us, please?
Of course.
The prince took his time. He knelt down beside Aurora, stroking her petal-soft cheeks. And when the time felt right, he placed a light kiss on her lush lips. Aurora's eyes fluttered open almost immediately.
It worked. Hi.
Hi,
Aurora,
Mal. Am I?
assuming by this young prince's reaction to you, yes.
I'm sorry, am I, missing something here? What happened? What worked? What can you tell by my reaction?
I'll tell you some other time. Do you have a name, my prince?
Philip. I gather yours is Aurora.
Indeed.
That is such a unique name. Please excuse me if this seems rash, but Aurora, you're absolutely beautiful.
Why, thank you.
Aurora?
Oh, yes, of course. Philip, this is Mal, my friend.
Nice to finally know your name.
Aurora, I meant we need to talk.
Okay. Philip, would you excuse us?
I'll meet you downstairs, okay? My horse is just outside.
Aurora, you were asleep for 100 years. You'll be living in a completely different time period, much different from what you were used to. I've watched everything change, all the new inventions, the wars and the battles between all of the kingdoms.
100 years? Is that my price, that I have to adapt to the time period? That everyone I used to know is dead now?
I'm sorry to say, but no. This is just a small sacrifice you'll have to make. The price, I imagine, will be much more testing for you.
Well, what is that?
You're beautiful, the most beautiful person I've ever seen, and I think the same goes for the prince. Your eyes are crystal blue, your skin is fair and radiant, your hair is silky and golden. Anyone who looks upon you will be mesmerized by you and your beauty. But you, Aurora, shall never personally get to look upon yourself, for if you do, the transformation will reverse itself. It will be tempting to look, to sneak a peek, but no matter how small or short, it will reverse. You will never know how beautiful you truly are, except for the reaction of others.
With the end of that final sentence, Aurora lost it all over again, just as she had 100 years ago with Elsie and Mr. Reynolds. She ran down to the prince, hopped on the horse, and rode off into the dark woods. And this is where our story comes to an end. The prince never found Aurora, though he searched for years and years, never knowing what caused her to run off. Maleficent went into hiding after the outburst, swearing to never help anyone with magic ever again, as magic will only end in eternal misery for herself and the magical victim. As for poor dear Aurora, she was never seen again. Some say she died in the woods somewhere of hunger and dehydration. Others say she looked at her reflection one day, reversed her spell, and drove herself insane. But I suppose her end will forever be a mystery.
That concludes this week's original fairy tale twist, Sleeping Ugly. We hope you enjoyed listening in to this production as we much enjoyed making it. Don't forget to tune in next week for another twisted tale.